The sky shall unfold, preparing his entrance. The stars shall applaud him with thunders of praise. The sweet light in his eyes shall enhance those awaiting, and we shall behold him then face to face, and we shall behold.
Hi, welcome to Verse of the Day. My name is Brandon Hathaway, and I'm the preacher here at the Westside Church of Christ in Owensboro, Kentucky, and I want to thank you for joining me today as we again open up our Bible and study the Word of God, and we are going to continue to go through the book of Leviticus. As we're in Leviticus, we are in chapter 3 today, Leviticus chapter 3. Primarily looking at verse 17. Looks like my computer's a little slow, so I apologize for that and the glitches and whatnot. But as you go through Leviticus chapter 3, we're going to be looking at the peace offerings as it's brought out here. Starts off offering of sacrifice, peace offering. It says a male or female animal. And then as you continue to go through that, it goes forth and makes a couple distinctions of different animals. So the first one, just verse 1 says animal. And then as you go down to verse 7, he offers a lamb offering. And in verse 12, it says a goat. And so we get a couple, but as you read through it, they all read similar, one other besides the animal in itself. And with the animal, I believe it has just slight distinction in the sacrifices. But for the most part, it's, they had to come up before the tabernacle. They had to kill it, put their hands on it. They had to kill it, blood on both sides of the altar by the priest. Then they start to take the entrails and the fat and burn that. And that kind of gets you to verse 17 here, because throughout this, it talks about the blood and talks about the fat through these verses here. And so verse 17 says, "It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwelling places that you eat neither fat nor blood." And the reason, again, is that the fat and the blood is going to the Lord. In verse 16, you go back to verse 16, it says, "And the priest shall burn them on the altar, the food offerings, pleasing aroma, all fat is the Lord's." And so the fat and the blood, it was the Lord's. And so therefore, as you get to this verse, it's saying, again, we know that there were commands under the old law in which Israel was not allowed to eat certain food, certain meats, clean and unclean. And here they weren't allowed to touch the blood, eat the blood. They were not allowed to eat the fat. And so a lot of law in which they had to abide by. Again, why it's understandable that as you study into the New Testament, there was a struggle for the brethren who had just converted to accept that you were allowed to eat certain meats and certain food, and then food that was offered to idols. And so because there were laws in which they had been abiding by for so long, that they had abided by, that the parents abided by, that their grandparents abided by, and that they've read about in the law, they've heard taught in the synagogues by the priest. And so it'd be hard to move on past that and say, oh, all of a sudden it's okay to eat where we've avoided it all this time. And so anyways, that's one of the things I thought about as reading through that. And again, one of the things in my mind that thankful that you don't see it read in the New Testament. I do like my meat a little rare, and having a little bit of that fat to add some flavor. So anyways, appreciate you joining me today. I hope that everybody has a blessed day today, and if the Lord is willing, I will.